Hi everyone, my name is Florencio, and again, I'm doing a live vlog right now in regards to the upcoming elections that will be happening tomorrow. So, if you're a registered voter, and of course, tomorrow will be the day of judgment. Who will be the next president, vice presidents, and the new senators who will be joining the Senate, and all of the other local officials who will be changing or retain their positions. So, as a special of Manual to Life blogs and videos, uh, I made the point that for 2016 we will make the the special coverage of a special feature on the elections, which is hashtag manual to vote. So for this video, we will talk about first the presidential votes who would be vying for the crown or the seat of the presidency of the Republic of the Philippines. So let's start off with, well, of course, we have five presidential votes right now. We will do this in alphabetical order, and after which I'll probably give my personal insights, of course. So let's start with Judge Marbina. So we know Judge Marbina is the mayor of Makati for quite a number of years, and well, for the longest time, Makati has been held under the quote-unquote administration and care of Jojo Binay. He was um, as far as we can remember, after the EDSA Revolution, Judge Marbina held Makati for quite some time. After which he served his maximum term, here comes his wife, and then lately his son Jujun Binay, which was suspended by the ombudsman and currently under a new the OIC of I mean under the quote unquote person administration of Kid Peña, which is actually an opposing party to them, which is also running for mayor. So let's go back to Jojo Binay. Jojo Binay has ran the vice presidential. Of course, he is the current vice president of the Philippines. He he was actually a surprise winner in the last 2010 elections, where he beated Mar Rojas by just 1 million points. I mean votes. And well, currently he was a former national president of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. He was the former chairman of the World Organization of the Scout Movement Asia Pacific Regional Scout Committee. And well, so far, yes, that's the track record of Mayor Jojo Binay, which is now, of course, we would address him still as Vice President Jojo Binay. He was actually one of the front runners in the surveys before the election, the campaign started, and surprisingly, now on home stretch, he's now on the fourth place uh, as of now. And well, one big factor that changed or affected Giorgio Binay's standings is, of course, the allegations of corruption, and also, of course, the the things that he did to Makati. Because, well, uh, one thing that he would say in his speech is that he could provide free healthcare, free education, free this, free that for the citizens, which is also what he promised back in 2010, in which he said the Philippines will be like Makati. However, it's already been 6 years, but still Makati is still Makati, and Philippines is still Philippines in general. So vying for the presidential seat was actually, well, of course, this is a strategic move. However, I think the one that really affected him, yes, is of course the corruption, and of course The things that he promised back in 2010 was never fully achieved. As of now, because although there is progress, there is still a lot of things that should be done. And currently, since he is also an opposition to the administration, of course, things won't go well with him as well. And now, yes, he is currently fourth. So, although he said in his meeting the Avance last night that he would win with at least 50 million votes, is still questionable since um, we're not really sure because of course since the survey he did slip out of the surveys. Um, there's a lot, not only just the regular surveys like SWS Pulse Asia. There's also a lot of surveys that he did not top. So okay, moving on to the next one, we have Miriam Defensor Santiago. So born June 15, 1945, Miriam of course is vying for her third time running for presidency. First back in 1992, second is in 1998, and this time it's 2016. So, of course, we do know Miriam Defensor Santiago is currently a senator, and well, she is known to be the Iron Lady of Asia. She has the brains, she has the bravery. She has shown that ever since she has been holding positions and even actually landing a position in the international court. So that's actually one of the things that really impresses Miriam. That puts on a good uh, track record that people are really impressed of. However, for this year, 2016, for the elections this year, things got a little bit complicated with her because of her current ailment. Since she announced that she had stage 4 lung cancer, uh, many people are a little skeptical about her health. Since, of course, cancer is not an easy ailment to be treated. However, she did mention that she is currently trying out a new prototype medicine, which has no name yet, but only a code. Um, in the past few weeks, she showed good improvement because when the campaign started, she had um, uh, it will be noticeable in her speech that she's she buckles a lot, she pauses, she need time to take uh, uh, take a breather, and yeah, uh, that's one thing that people notice, like I'm doing right now. So that's one of the biggest factors of people quite skeptical about her running for the presidency again for 2016. Um, it it's quite sad though because despite her track record and also her competence to be the next president of the Philippines in current standings of major surveys, she's actually in the fifth place um, with percentage running from 3, 4, 5, or around that range. However, um, Miriam does not fail and absolutely tops university and college surveys almost around the country. So, except for one one university that I would not name, but in terms of all of the universities that she that made a mock election with their students and also uh, with their faculty, staff, etc., she always wins the top spot with a big advantage. So, which makes her a popular candidate among the youth. And to think that the youth is actually a big chunk of the voting population today. So out of the 55 million voters right now, there would be some more or less 40% who are considered youth. So those that could actually push her in the actual elections, but still it's not a guarantee. But of course, let's see if for the last minutes of the elections, those children would persuade their mothers, fathers, or family to vote for Miriam. That could actually work. So that's a big chance for Miriam Defensor Santiago. So now let's move on to Rodi Duterte. Rodi Duterte. Or Rodrigo Roa Duterte, which is the standard bearer of PDP Laban, which is also the current mayor of Davao City. So, um, uh, Duterte is actually the biggest name right now in social media, in TV, etc. Because, of course, he has a big following right now. But did you know that from the very start of the campaign, there was even a time that Duterte almost did not file his certificate of candidacy because of mm, he had his doubts, something like that. But it was quite a surprise because uh, although um, he came in late for the campaign to announce that he's running for president, he gradually gained followers. And one thing that um, Duterte have something unique is because you would see that what he is pushing is also what he is pushing in Davao. So I've been to Davao last year, just probably less than it. Probably I've been to Davao City and Davao del Norte, and I was quite surprised because you would see that the Davaoenos are really really clean compared to what we have here in Manila. And um, they say, well, according to statistics and reports, that it is confirmed. We have researched it that yes, Davao is one of the safest place in the world, and also uh, Davao is actually has the one of the cleanest water, drinking water. I mean, sorry, the cleanest water in the whole world. So it's actually quite impressive. So, what does Duterte do in Davao that he can apply to the country? Well, according to his platforms, he said that he would reduce corruption and criminality, and he actually set a deadline of 6 months to do that. So that's actually quite a challenge, and people are quite skeptical with that. However, since he did promise that, and one of the biggest exhibits or proof that he could do that is Davao City, so there's a possibility that he can do it. Of course, the Philippines is not exactly like Davao. It took probably years to get Davao to its current state. So that would also be something to think about. But of course, we will also see Duterte as a really, really strong candidate. Although there is the only problem with him right now is how he speaks because he curses a lot, he makes jokes a lot that sometimes are quite inappropriate, and people would always quote him for his jokes and also for those curses that he blew out on TV or the internet. So he became unpopular to those. who uphold the very gentleman-like, the very Christian-like, or very uh, statesman-like figure. He's actually a different kind. He's brutal. He's tough. Um, he admits he's a womanizer. Um, that's really that's something that you don't usually look for when you are looking for a man or a leader. However, the thing that people would now like that that the reason why people would still go for Duterte is because, of course, for the political will, and for also for fighting against criminality, drugs, and corruption. So he walks the talk. He showed it to a lot of his supporters. Although the problem right now is some of the supporters are so um, into him that sometimes they don't forget that when they see something like websites that show him, although it's not verified, they will still share it. A lot of people will believe it, or also show photos, and it's not actually the right ones. Well, we could say that um, um, commonly speaking, they're quoted as the Tertons. So people in the internet had exploded in the internet just exploded with that, and Duterte, well, it actually worked for Duterte, although it's kind of mixed with negative and positive. We would see that it's really complicated. So let's see the next in this coming election, if the, if people would still vote for him despite his flaws and despite his um, of course image. Okay, so now let's move on to Graceful. Graceful. Yes, so Mary Grace Sonora Poe Lamanzales. She's the daughter of the late FPJ, that's Fernando Poe Jr., not me. So she was the former MTRCB chairman, and she was elected senator back in 2013. I met her once in an FPJ event to show her platforms, etc. Well, and all of that. And that's actually one of the reasons why I voted for her back in 2013. Now, she, um, there was a big clamor last year for her to run, since um, her father ran for president back in 2004. Unfortunately, he did not win. I They said that it this would 2016 would be the best time for her to to run as the president, to take the place of her father, and also continue what uh, her father was doing back then. Well, technically, his father was not an elected official, although what they might meant by that is FPJ was really helpful to the people. So going for the presidency would grant him a lot of power to help more people. Unfortunately, um, he did not win. So since Grace Poe is now actually a part of the government, he started with the MTRCB, now the senator. Um, she rose up to the call of her supporters to run for president. The reason, um, well, yeah, it's kind of cinematic in terms of how she was proclaimed, because like she had people with the stage with of course balloons. She was like something like Obama. Um, she has that Obama feel when she presented that she would run for president. And back then, there's there's also the clamor of the other presidential votes, like Binay, um, Duterte. Although this Duterte at that time was not really was still unsure. So okay, so now we move on to Poe. For Grace Poe, she was now she's now pushing for a government that has heart, which she calls gobyernong may puso, because one of the things that made her run is because she is fed up with a government who's not caring for the people, because there were a lot of tragedies that happened in the Philippines, yet the government, as she said, was not caring enough to to be with the people. So she promised that if elected president, she would be a more caring um, president, and she would do a lot of reforms for the people. Okay, so as of now, as a senator, she has pending laws right now. So technically, none of the laws were passed yet, although they're still pending. So probably the next 3 years we'll see some of the laws would become a law soon. But for now, for the campaign period, um, Grace is actually currently in second place in all of the major surveys, which makes her the rival of Duterte in terms of numbers or number ranking. And she was also the candidate that the next one, which is Mar Rojas, called to unify against Duterte, uh, so they could beat him in the presidential race. But we'll talk about that later. So going back to Grace Poe, of course, she has, well, in terms of image, she really looks like a mother. She has this white long sleeve that she rolled up, and she only has the this ponytail. And well, for image wise, it's really good. Although it's not as unique as Duterte campaign. But as of now, since she's in second place, she still has a chance to be the next president of the Philippines. So the question right now, since campaign period has already ended, um, will the undecided go for Grace Poe, or the other supporters would go for Grace Poe so she could win the presidency? So that's the question. And currently, right now, she's partnered with Cheese Escudero as her vice presidential. So we'll talk about the presidentials in another video vlog. Okay. So now let's move on to our final, but not last but not the least, is Manuel Rojas III. So as you all know, we already had a Rojas president back in 1946 from the liberation of Manila, which is Manuel Rojas the first. So Manuel Rojas is actually the grandchild of Manuel Rojas the first. So of course, Manuel Rojas is known to be the Palenque, Mr. Palenque back then when he ran for senator. Then when the Pinoy administration started, he was put into different departments like the DOTC, the DILG, and uh, yeah, he also was part of the Senate. So for Manuel Rojas, of course, back in 2010, Manuel Rojas actually gave way or gave up his presidential dream to Noynoy Aquino, since Noynoy was actually the big name back then. So for 2016, the promise was kept that Mar Rojas would now be the standard bearer for the Liberal Party in 2016. Now, uh, for however, things quite got complicated with Mar Rojas because of all the things he has handled. Also being part of the administration or the Daang Matuwid, which still a lot of people are not really impressed with how they did things. That actually affected Rojas and his candidacy. So if you would notice, there's a lot of smear campaign for Rojas and what he did or did not do back then, especially for the transportation and the local government positions he has held. However, Mar Rojas did also a lot of things for during his term. Also, in terms of being a senator, um, for me back then, I was also really impressed with Manuel Rojas back then. However, yes, as an ordinary citizen and all other Filipinos, we do realize that there's a lot of things that happen. We have Typhoon Yolanda, the MRT, the the bombings, the South 44. There's a lot under the administration of Pino, which was not really handled well. We have to admit. So, although Rojas did his job as, of course, the secretary, uh, the government official, or the right hand of President Noynoy Aquino, still there are a lot of things that was not resolved, and people are very very angry about it. So, all of his achievements back then is now eclipsed, but by the things he has done during the administration. So that's quite unfortunate for him. So currently he's on the third position, actually now beating Jojo Binay in the latest survey. Um, he did call for Grace for Unity to step down so he could gather the votes, but Grace did not budge, and Mara says tuloy ang laban. So now, well, according to Marvel supporters who just called the hashtag silent majority, they would win because most of the people are still the silent majority, which is in favor of votes. Although we that would be tested on election day itself. Okay, and currently she's also paired with Lenny Robredo, which is the widow of the late Jesse Robredo of Naga City. So their tandem is now called the Roro, Rojas Robredo. So of course the campaign, since they're on the admin side, they have the machinery, they have recently we actually covered the stars who supported them. They have of course the yellow team, all of the things that are yellow are associated to the Rojas Roberto Atlanta. So okay, so that's it. That's it for now for Rojas. So we discussed already the five candidates. Let's just make a one final analysis on what's going to happen on election day for the presidential polls. So for the presidential polls, we're looking in. Well, as of now, there is a very big chance that Duterte would win because of the support the people support in the people in terms of uh, in terms of social media, the actual people who go to his sorties, um, the people who are discussing about him, the people who are actually putting stickers on their homes, on their cars, etc. And also, yeah, you see in the survey. And to think that Duterte actually started with probably less than 15% back then when he just announced his candidacy. But now he's the front runner. Now on the second spot, who is Grace Pola Manzales. Um, she uh, at first she was also the second when Bina was leading. However, she gained track and in the middle of the campaign, she was able to take the top spot. However, that plunged a little, and she went into second place, but consistently still second place, which is still another, it's still a feat because if people would still remain um, with you, of course, they would not change. So thus, keeping her second spot in the surveys. So for Marojas, who is on the third now, um, it shows that yes, machinery. They have the machinery. They have the stars. They have people working for them. They have supporters backing them up. However, in terms of the general public, still many are still dissatisfied with the current government. So Marcos would we could say that is a victim of what Pinoy has done in the past few years. Let's say if Pinoy actually done a lot of improvements in terms of the majority, maybe that would actually be a good point to Rojas. However, one reality right now is still there's a lot of problems. There was a lot of debts, and there was no sympathy from the government, which angered the public. So I guess that's the reason why he's still on that squad. So let's move on to um, B9. B9 is still fourth place, although he's fourth. Um, he said that if you remove the allegations of corruption, he could give you a good fight. Although many are not impressed with him right now because he's all talk and Makati is losing he's losing grip on Makati and all his allies is going out. So quite unfortunate for Nabinas because he was really on the top back then, but now he's on fourth. So that's kind of sad. And um, the last, but definitely not the least, and probably the best candidate for presidency, Miriam Defensor Santiago, would be on. Unfortunately, she's on the last spot in the surveys. However, like I said, she is popular with the youth. Um, she proved that despite her ailment, she is still fighting. And despite the rumors that she's backing up, she is fighting. And with the debate, she actually uh, she proved that she is really a good debater, a good presenter of her platforms, and also still a charismatic leader. So um, there's still a lot of hope for Miriam supporters that she would. And personally, I would say that she is a really good contender. So after that, so now the presidency has been discussed. Um, for my own opinion, now among the five presidentials, who should I pick? Um, I did said this before that I'm only looking into three people, which is Defensor Santiago Duterte and Grace Poe. So um, I watch all the debates in Mindanao, Cebu, and in Pangasinan. Read their platforms. I follow them on TV, internet, sometimes on radio, and paper, newspapers. So in terms of inte- um, intelligence, intelligence in terms of um, character, I would say I would go for Miriam. In terms of courage, in terms of political will, in terms of uh, applying the law, I would go for Duterte. In terms of being a caring government, in terms of being specific to the projects that you would do, and in terms of continuing the progress that we are now working for, I would go for Pro. So among the three, it's been a long, long process for me. Who should I pick? There were times that I would go with Duterte. I would go with Defensor Santiago, and of course with Grace Poe. So uh, just a few days ago, I finally said that I would go for, wait for it, Grace Poe. Grace Poe. Um, like I said, I want the caring government. I want the specifics, and I want that charisma because I think she has that. Although there is the allegations of her being an alien or an American, but the Supreme Court already divulged that, and she's already a senator. In 2000, she was hailed as a senator. Why does this issue about her citizenship come up just now? So I set aside those because those are quite um, those are things that are quite irrelevant in terms of the presidency. Because what I'm looking for is once you once you sit on that presidential chair, what would you do? So she represents what I want to do. Although I would be happy, let's say if Grace loses, I would still be happy if Duterte or Miriam would win. So it's a win-win solution since as of now Duterte would still would most likely be the winner for this year's election. So, but nevertheless, that's the importance of your vote. That's the importance of my vote because you would see that um, I work hard to research on who to vote. I look at their characters, what they do, and I think you should do the same thing too. Because for since tomorrow would be election day, I would really really ask of you, my fellow Filipino voters, to please consider that your vote is really really special, and your vote can really really change uh, the course of the country. So please think. So whether you're voting for B9, Defensor Santiago, Duterte, Poe, and Rojas, just make sure that you're not just going uh, going with the flow. You're not just joining the bandwagon. You're voting because this is the future of the country. And for the president, the presidency be the most powerful position in the country, it's a really really important vote. So so that's it. And thank you very much for watching this very very special YouTube video about my thoughts about our analysis on the presidential votes. We would now move on to the uh, other videos. You can check out the videos in our channel. We have a special um, discussion. Well, technically not discussion because I'm just doing a monologue here. But of course, we would discuss a lot of things. Yeah, well, we discuss in the comments, right? So, uh, I hope you cast your vote tomorrow. And for now, this is the Presidential Bowl special video for Manuel to vote. And again, my name is FDJ, and hope you have a great day.